What up, everybody? How you doing today? It's a Friday, and I'm feeling mighty fine. Although I got to go back to work the next week, but hey, that's okay. That's life. And yes, your eyes are not deceiving you. I'm wearing the same shirt I did on my Matango uh, review. So, but it's all good though. But hey, I'm here to discuss a film that I just got back from looking at, and I gotta say, not too disappointed from it. And that film is A Working Man with Jason Statham. What am I saying? Anyway, no, the film. I wanted to go into detail about the film. It's fairly pretty. I'll put it like this: if any of you have ever watched Gina Davis in The Long Kiss Goodnight, it's one of those very slow burns, but at the same time, you know you're going to get some kind of incredible action, whatever it might be. I mean, it could be this, it could be that. You never know. But no, this film is pretty much by the same creators that did The Beekeeper, where with The Beekeeper, this film, is straight up action. Jason Statham is pretty much doing a unstoppable force kind of individual. He's well trained, all that stuff. Well, the thing about this film is there's more peril involved when you watch this one because with the Beekeeper, you know what his own outlook is. He's going after somebody that did someone that treated him right wrong. Whereas here it's kind of the same outcome, which is the person that he's helped. I mean, the people that he's helping someone get their daughter back. And doing that, he's implying or putting in the simple fact is that he's going to make sure that he gravitas to wanting to take out these individuals who took his bosses. Well, yeah, pretty much the people who hired him, take them out, you know, because he in this story, like in the fourth home front, he's a father. Where the Beekeeper, he is not a father, he's just an ordinary individual. But here, he's somebody who is, a father, but he's ex-military and he's very good at it. So, to kind of break down the story, I'm not going to give too much away in terms of spoilers because I don't think I want to do that. I might devil a little bit. He's a person who's working in construction, and he's just an everyday individual, mofo, whatever. And for what he does something very well, which is keeping the peace, making sure he maintains. Because there's a scene in the beginning where he's on the job site and somebody's attacking him. Somebody's attacking his one of his crew members, and he's like, "What's going on here?" And I kid you not, in two shakes of a lamb's tail, he pretty much decimates these guys. And it's like, you want to go there? You want to really go there? You really want to go there? So it's moments like that where you realize that it's like, dude, just go back, just haul back, don't bother me, But that being said, he's someone who's pretty much, just living everyday life, trying to maintain, just make sure that he doesn't do anything that's out of the way. And going with that, wonder where is this going with, because he's dealing with everyday life, which is involving both working on as a construction supervisor and dealing with custody abuse with his daughter, because somehow he has little privilege being with her in tone with his stepfather who was his wife's father, and bottom line, it's just a lot of custody battles, and that to me shows real life. Real life kind of corresponds with you know real things in the real world that helps a story along a little bit because it's more tangible, more you know real in a sense, despite all that. But getting to the meat and potatoes of the story, the films follows a young woman who is the daughter of the construction, people who hired Statham's character, to be the supervisor and do whatever. So, it's like, hey, they're pretty much back and forth, clue, individuals, and whatever goes on. And like I say, I think that to me helps a little bit because, like I said, but compared to the Beekeeper, with this Beekeeper is straight up action. You have some humanistic moments, but here you realize it's more grounded with that idea that interfacing with people and whatever. So going from there, you know, we realize like any young person, because this girl's like about 19 to 20 years old. If you're somebody who is that age, like myself, who's three times that age, you realize that you want to live a little bit. You want to enjoy life, and hang out with your friends and do whatever. That's the case. But in the midst of going to this club with her friends and everything, she gets snatched up. Okay. And she gets kidnapped and sold to these, unfortunately, human traffickers. And that's where the story really comes into play, where you realize here's a real world issue. And unfortunately, it's all about making money. I have to say, when it comes to selling humans, you literally could say that's almost like slavery in a sense, taking a person who's a person and using them for that issue. And that's just horrible. I mean, it's way below. I mean, yeah, you can rob somebody, you can, in murder is not, homicide is not good either. But selling someone, especially if they're a young woman, for someone's greedy reasons, it's like, no, I kind of draw a line with that. But anyway, she gets kidnapped, and the parents say they want Statham's help to, go find her and bring her home. And the father, who's played by Michael Pena, very well known actor, very good actor, he says he knows military training because his father was Green Beret, and he can sense out that emotion from some people. So Statham decides, I mean, I'm not going to do it at first, but then he goes to his old buddy. I guess he was either his platoon leader or whatever, played by David Mac, the dude from Stranger Things, and like I say, he says, I came here to ask you for permission. Well, not asking for permission. He asked them to, let you know that I'm about to do something. But even the David's character says like, you were going to do it before. You was going to do it anyway without asking me. You already made your mind up. So that being said, it's like, okay, he's already got it in the hole to do this, So it's like, okay, so if he's going to do it, he's going to do it. And he goes through a myriad of people. And this is where the slow burn really comes into play. He goes through several outlets in which he gets to get to these people. And by and by, I mean, what comes next, you don't expect. And this is one of the good things about this film. I said this in my Matango review. You don't know exactly what's going to happen. You have no idea. And I think, and the thing about this movie is based on a novel. See, and knowing that it's based on a novel, I think that kind of helps out a little bit. But you have artistic licenses to do something different or whatever. But it shows right away where this person, he's gonna go walk through hell just to get this young woman back because she's a good kid. She's and I should mention this is one of those things where the damsel in distress trope is in here, but this character that he's rescuing, she's not exactly that damsel in distress where she can't handle herself because she's pretty much somebody that's like I can take by my own, but she still needs help. So all in all, he has to go through Russian mafia. He has to go through drug dealers. He has to go through certain people. It's like it is such okay. And then when the action really kicks in the midst of all these things, it's like okay, we're nonstop right now. We're on a roller coaster ride, And I feel like that's the thing you want with an action picture, because if it starts out not being an action picture, you feel like, is this what I come to pay for? But I feel you need that groundedness to show that there's more realistic notions and tones going on because real life has no guarantees. And in this film shows that there is no guarantees of what's going on. So that being said, let's just say, because like I said, I don't want to give too much spoilers away, too much of this movie. Jason Statham pretty much gets the girl. How he does it, I'm not going to say, but he does do what he does. And in the midst of all this, I should have said that his daughter, that his own daughter, was in jeopardy, and I think that equals the stakes out a little bit. But again, I'm not going to say too much because it goes in a way where you don't know it's going to go to. But all in all, the film, I'm not going to give it a whole lot of inks about it. I feel straight up, it's a good, solid. I say a good, solid 7.5 on my register. I mean, it's got some kinks, but I feel like it's well worth the watch because it's a pretty good film, And I feel like some people, with action pictures, you want them dumb and stupid, but I'm like, I need more than that. I need more than just the unintelligence of certain things. You need something that really says, okay, this yanks me in, and it won't let go. And that's what this film does. And I feel like that does do that, and it does it very well. So, yes, if you, I definitely recommend this film, and I feel like if anyone wants to watch it, go see it. I say go do it, man, because you might enjoy it. I will say, this is going to be controversial for anyone, but this film. I went to the matinee. When I say not say matinee, I went to the 10 o'clock showing to see this film, and I'm thinking to myself, the few people that were in there, I kind of jokingly said something on my Facebook page, like, I wonder could there be more attendance in this film than it is in Snow White. I mean, because that's gonna be very funny if it is like that. I mean, because you've heard about what Snow White's doing. It's like, oh no. So, but hey, your choice. And this film, I should say, it is an R-rated film, and don't go see this film if you have kids. If you take your kids, don't do that. Don't do that. But that's me. That's just me being a parental individual who feels like don't do that to your kids. But that being said, that's pretty much a wrap on that discussion of A Working Man. And if you decide to go check it out, I say check it out with open mind and say, hey, this might be pretty good. So hey, go ahead and check it out. But with that being said, I'm gonna close this out by not with the kaiju love. I'm gonna close out by saying, y'all take care, y'all be patient, and always keep the film legacy alive. All right, y'all take it easy now.